Like, have you ever been at a party and someone walks in and you don't know them from anyone, and you're just kind of like, that person just gives me a bad vibe. Like, I don't know what it is about them. I don't really like them that much. But you go about your business and you stay at the party. And then later on you talk to the person and you're like, yeah, I was right. That person's a total asshole or whatever. Right. Same thing with, sometimes you get a really good vibe when you see someone across the room and you're just like, that person, I just want to talk to them. I just feel like, they seem really, really.
I told you I have someone like that I want to stalk.
That you're just like attracted to, and for whatever reason,
to this woman, and I just want to hang out with her.
Right.
But,
she gives off a vibe.
She gives off such a great vibe.
Yeah. Welcome to the WomenHood Lectures, where we talk about things that matter to you, the modern day woman. I'm Yasmin.
And I'm Lyra. Please check us out also on Rumble and Spotify. Like, subscribe, and share. And we are open to your comments, of course. So that being said, our topic for today is energy. How do we feel? How do we change how we feel? How do we feel better? Our energy is very important to us, I think, as energetic beings. And we would just want to talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's really important for women to kind of understand this, because energy really ties into everything about how you are, how you carry yourself, how you think about yourself.
Right.
And it really affects how you experience the world around you.
Right.
So yeah, I love this topic. I teach on this topic. I talk to people all the time about it. So it's really fun. And you and I talk a lot about it as well.
We do. And it's very important. Because I think that the way that I show up for you or in your presence, it determines how you feel too. Like, it affects how you feel and vice versa. Like, I know that you have great energy around me, but I do have a really good question for you. So
yeah.
So Yasmin, this is from a coaching perspective, of course,
Oh,
right?
okay.
I need your little guidance here.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just don't have it in me. I get inundated with emotions. Life gets questionable. People drive me absolutely crazy. I feel pulled apart in multiple directions. As a mom, sometimes I just don't have the energy to keep doing it every day. I'm tired, negative, sad, lonely. My frequency that I vibrate in is quite low. I want to stay positive, but it's just really hard. So how do I become an energetic being? Considering all of that, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
How do I grow? How do I change?
Okay. How do you grow? So, okay, that's a lot to unpack, but let's just start with basics.
Okay.
So basics on you already are an energetic being. So let's just start there. You are, we all are. So imagine that, I kind of imagine all of us as being energy that's being vibrating on a certain frequency, where we are now compacted into these meat suits.
Okay.
So we are always in motion on an energetic level, right? Our cells, our atoms, all of that. There's space in between everything. And so what we feel and how we experience the world around us is our interpretation of other energy. So this is vibrating at an energy, the mics are, and I know some people think that that's crazy, but really everything is energy, and energy is in everything.
Right.
And so what we experience is our perception of what that thing is. So we experience a perception of a color, a perception of how someone is around us, right? And oftentimes, and you'll know this because you get a vibe off people. People always talk about, someone who has a really good vibe, or someone gives you like you have a specific feeling when you're with them. That's that vibe that you get. And so everyone kind of has this. They have this energy. They have this vibe that they're at, and everyone experiences you differently.
Right.
The key with what your question is about is, how do I feel better? How do I grow?
Yes.
How do I sort of get better at this? And really the key is to get better at feeling. And so a lot of times, most of the time, most of us have been brought up to feel in little boxes. So so as women, for example, we're allowed to have a pretty big range of feelings. You're allowed to feel sad and cry about something or happy and get really excited about it.
Right.
Whereas, for example, maybe if you were in a family where emotions were not really well tolerated, you might not be allowed to experience all of those things. And so you might be a little more stoic, or you might kind of hide your feelings a lot. And so really, at the end of the day, when you want to start experiencing life differently, showing up better,
Right.
one of the things to do is to kind of allow yourself to feel everything, even when it's not what you want, right? So sometimes if you're feeling like crap,
Go through the motion of it.
allow yourself to feel like crap.
Okay.
Now give you give yourself some time to, we all, something happens and we want to feel sorry for ourselves. Yeah, go feel sorry for yourself, have your ice cream, whatever it is, right?
Right.
But what you want to do is start cultivating, how do I now bounce back? How do I now come back into a more peaceful, centered, even a neutral state? I
Right.
mean, that's pretty, it's a little bit more advanced, but it's one of those things where you can learn how to be a little bit more neutral about things. It's so much easier to move through the good as well as the bad,
Right.
the highs as well as the lows, because just like frequencies that go up and down, our emotions go up and down, we vibrate up and down. And so sometimes you're really happy and your life is going well and things are just working for you. And then sometimes you might experience something different where things seem to be not going so well.
Right.
And then you're tired and then you get negative about it. And then the third thing happens today and you're like, everything happens in threes. So, oh my gosh, this better be done now, right?
Right.
We all have these ways that we are. But yeah, one of the things I always tell people is to just start tuning into how you feel and don't negate how you feel. Don't push it aside. Don't pretend.
Okay.
Be really honest with yourself. It doesn't mean you have to act on it. I mean, if you're in a bad mood and someone crosses your path, it's going to be hard, but you can be honest with yourself and not lash out at people around you.
Of course.
Right?
But when I read this question too, I said, there's a portion of it where it's like, I'm tired, negative, sad, lonely, my frequency is low, right? So to be in that state, what do you think that causes physically I think a lot of women actually endure that. I think having the stresses of even raising a family or stresses of life in general.
So true.
What happens?
Well, I mean, on a physical level, you really, when your nervous system is in a state where it's very low or slow, or you're in fight or flight or freeze, we've talked about that before. Those are sort of your base emotions and your base reactions whenever you are in stress.
Right.
It raises your cortisol levels. It's not a great place to be, and you don't really want to stay there.
Right.
So you do want to learn how to manage your emotions, be with them, and allow them to move through you and allow them to kind of pass through your system.
Okay.
And part of that is really learning more emotional intelligence, right? Emotional intelligence is that ability to actually feel more, not less, to be more honest with yourself, to be more accepting of yourself, to be okay with the highs and lows, and then to find ways to kind of bounce back through all of that.
So when you deal with something, it's kind of, how do I get out of this feeling? Right?
Well, you want to be with the feeling.
Okay.
And then you want to say, what is this actually trying to show me? What is this trying to tell me? So if I'm feeling low today, maybe it's just I'm feeling low and that's okay for me to be there for a while. But maybe it's also pointing to something. Is there something in your life, or is there something that day that you're missing? Do you need to fill your cup in a way? Are you feeling depleted? Are you feeling under-resourced? Oftentimes when we're under-resourced, we don't have our own cups full. That's when stuff happens. That's when you can't deal with things. That's when, a molehill feels like it's a mountain.
Right.
Because you just don't have the capacity to deal with whatever that thing is that day. So your kid, gets sick and has to be picked up from school, but you have an important meeting at the same time. You're in this dilemma of like, I want to care for my kid, but I have to get this thing done. I can't be in two places at once. So, those are the kinds of things that can really throw you off, right? And if you're someone who doesn't have capacity that day, or you're already really, really stressed, you're going to blow up somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to come out somewhere. And if you don't blow up anywhere else, it's going to be on yourself.
I find that a lot of people are inundated right now.
Yeah.
Just in general with everything that's going on. So I think it's an important topic to discuss, because we are inundated emotionally. We're inundated with the outside world. We're inundated with the stuff that's going on in our kids' schools. We're inundated with the entire financial system.
Yes.
So, when we show up in a positive way, and we're happy-go-lucky every day, and there's that other extreme, right, where you're completely way too positive. But let's just say you're a positive person. How do you feel that helps? And what can we do to kind of get there? So
you want to try to cultivate more of that?
I myself do.
Yeah.
I read that question, by the way. Disclaimer, that's not me. But I'm saying, generally speaking, when I read that question, it is something that a lot of people feel. As I work through with clients, or when I have friends that I speak to, a lot of people are in that state where they're in a rut, or they're sitting in a specific energy level, and they want to come out of it and they don't know how. Or they're experiencing a lot of setbacks in their life, and they wake up every day and they're not doing the things that bring their frequency up. We're also being inundated physically, I think, from the stuff that's going on with the sun.
Sure.
That's
a real physical thing.
It's a real physical thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's things that affect our energy from the outside world as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we can only do what we can do, and we can only control what ourselves.
Yeah. So there's lots of things sort of in there where you can find things to do for yourself, right? Doing things obviously that fill your cup, whatever is good for you. So if it's quiet activities, you like to kind of shut the world out for a while and you need quiet time, downtime, do that, right? And schedule that into your day or into your week. But there are things like, you want to hang out with people who help bring you up, for example.
Right.
Everyone probably has at least one friend who just always puts a smile on their face, or always kind of makes them feel a little bit better. It's a thing. Life is really not that bad.
For sure.
Right? When you're around them, for whatever reason, maybe they make you laugh. Maybe they just really soothe you when you are in their presence.
Right.
Right? So spending time with people, or in situations or in environments that are lighthearted, or that are supportive for you feeling better, that's always, that's sort of a given. If you can, eating well, getting good sleep. These are some of the physical things that you can do. And again, I'm a big proponent of meditation. I think meditation is one of those things that if you think that you don't need it, you need to meditate even more.
Okay.
Yeah. Right? Those people who are like, I can just do it for 5 minutes and that's good enough for me. You probably need actually a little more than that, but you got to start somewhere. So ways to actually regulate your nervous system, that's the way to start getting your body prepared for whatever comes through, because we often, our bodies, our energetic systems will ping off of everything around us. So we will interpret something on an energetic level before we think, see, feel, hear, or taste it.
Right.
Right. Like that sort of feeling, that gut feeling that you have, that intuitive hit that you might have. Like, have you ever been at a party and someone walks in and you don't know them from anyone, and you're just kind of like, that person just gives me a bad vibe. Like, I don't know what it is about them. I don't really like them that much. But you go about your business and you stay at the party. And then later on you talk to the person and you're like, yeah, I was right. That person's a total asshole or whatever. Right. Same thing with, sometimes you get a really good vibe when you see someone across the room and you're just like, that person, I just want to talk to them. I just feel like, they seem really, really.
I told you I have someone like that I want to stalk.
That you're just like attracted to, and for whatever reason,
to this woman, and I just want to hang out with her.
Right. But, she gives off a vibe.
She gives off such a great vibe.
Yeah.
But I've had the reverse, and it's probably, I'm probably a victim of it too. Not a victim, but a perpetrator, really. Sometimes I have resting, bitch face.
Yeah.
And then when they finally talk to me, they're like, oh my God, you're so not what you look like. And I'm like, well, I tend to kind of give off a vibe that maybe I'm not approachable or, and I'm not really positive that day. Like, I'm just here to kind of get to work. And then when they have a conversation with me, they realize I'm like super bubbly and like want to, just go party.
But that's when you're serious and you're focused.
Yes.
So your energy at that moment is serious, focused. Right. Don't mess with me. Don't bother me. So you are. I have
that a lot, though.
So you are. So that's different from your personality.
Right. Okay.
Your personality is one thing. The energy you're giving off moment to moment can be a different thing.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So once they talk to you, they're like, oh, you're amazing. This is fantastic, because you're in a different energy when you're talking to them. That's when your bubbly comes out. That's when you're ready to talk. That's when you want to, that's different.
Right.
Do you get the difference?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm that girl at the party that's kind of sitting there with a salty face.
The salty face.
And you're like,
that's so
I'm
funny.
not going to talk to her.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just totally kidding. I usually am super smiles.
Yeah.
But
But has that ever happened to you?
What?
Where someone's walked in,
yes,
and you're just like, no. And
then I can feel people's energy. For sure.
And then you talk to them later, and you're like, I was right. Mm-hmm. I was so right about that person, right?
We've all done it. Very big, like energy. I can feel energy amongst people, and sometimes there's people who suck the energy out of you.
Absolutely,
as you deal with them on a regular basis. I know that how I want to show up though is at that higher frequency, and I want to work towards that. So it's not something where I'm looking at my life and saying, oh, I'm that salty girl at the gym, who's not going to talk to you. I need to work on that. I need to work on being a little bit more open, because how we come across and how my energy shows up for you can change your life.
Absolutely.
It can make you feel better. It can, my smile to you can probably brighten up your day if you're having a bad day. Like if you're inundated with negative, sad, lonely frequencies, then, having somebody say, hey, how's it going? Have a great day today.
Yeah. Can totally turn it around for you.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I think it's great. The energy talk for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of physical things that you can do, right? From taking, supplements that support your body, being really nourished. I think as women, we tend to try to do things in a way that's been maybe a little bit more geared towards men. Okay. So we tend to, like, a lot of people talk about, do cold plunges and, shock your body, and that's going to make you, it's going to be so healthy for you. Right. It's going to make you feel great. It's actually not that great for women.
Okay.
That particular practice.
Okay. Why is that?
So cold plunges really shock the system, and women's systems work on a monthly cycle, as we know, right? Okay. And so depending on where you are in your cycle, that can be really jarring for your system and not great for you. Men work on a 24-hour cycle, right? So they can do the same thing every day, and they're right back to where they need to be by the morning or whenever their 24-hour cycle starts. We don't work that way. Like our physiology does not work that way. We actually have maybe a week of where our hormones may be at a certain level, and so we're in a lower mode, and that's when we actually need to cocoon. We need to support ourselves. We need more sleep. We need we need to do right. Yeah. And you notice how this is something that women kind of inherently know, but it's never really been listed out there, right? When you think about health and when you think about taking care of yourself, you think about, I got to exercise, I got to be up, I got to go, because we all follow this 24-hour cycle of work, kids. And I think that's why it's also really hard for women, because we don't really have moments or periods of time where we can just listen to our bodies. Right. So there's seasons for things. And so if you really want to delve deeply into this, there is literature out there. There's a lot of women doing some great work in this area where they explain in more depth that the female body and the female physiology is very different, and we need to work with that. And so sometimes we're working against ourselves when we're trying to do everything from morning till night on a daily schedule, 7 days a week. It doesn't actually work. So it's just something to consider.
For sure. So in other words, I mean, to wrap it up, I think a takeaway would be to meditate a little bit more, to ground yourself.
Yep.
Doing grounding, I think, is amazing.
Grounding is amazing if you can.
Just
get outside, bare feet.
Bare feet, and I do feel the earth. It's been great for me. Reading, definitely working out for me is, I don't do any crazy stuff anymore, but like working out for me, at least getting to the gym, getting some energy out has helped me. Staying hydrated. Not eating a whole bunch of crap, because honestly, when you eat a whole bunch of stuff,
it makes such a difference.
It's just this energy killer, right?
Yeah,
so if you want to be at a higher frequency, I think it's like stop eating crap.
Yeah,
it's not good for you. You're gonna feel it later.
Yeah.
Limit sugar, reduce alcohol. Is there anything I'm missing?
Let me see what's on my note here. I think part of the other thing is learning how to start tuning in to your own intuition and starting to tune in to what's the voice inside your head saying to you all the time. A lot of times we don't realize we have this voice in our head that's very judgy, particularly judgy of ourselves, right?
100%.
That's saying you did this wrong, or you did this right, or you should have done more of this. It's always this you should have, or you should be. Do you notice that?
Yes.
So we need to stop shoulding all over ourselves. So we need to stop the shoulds.
Doesn't sound like you're saying should.
But yeah. So you need to stop shitting on yourself. And really, I mean, this is a basic mindset practice, is to listen to what you're saying to yourself. What is the language that you're using to talk to yourself?
Be nicer to yourself.
Be nicer to yourself. Be more compassionate and more patient with yourself. Give yourself a lot of grace with things. So yes, you may have done something that you didn't like how it turned out, or you maybe, kind of yelled at your kid, or you were too short with someone. Don't go back and beat yourself up over it. It's done and you can't do anything about it now. The best thing you can do is go repair that relationship. Right. And the only 100%. Way you can repair it is when you start getting really good with yourself, getting really compassionate with yourself, and saying, okay, I'm going to do better next time. I'm making a commitment to show up better.
Right.
So then you tell the other person, I'm making a commitment to show up better for you, or in this next situation, call me out. Not an easy thing to do, but remind me, help me stay accountable to the things that I want to get better at. Awesome. Right. So those are some of the mindset practices that people can use as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Very, very good advice. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you guys for joining us today. And don't forget to like, share, and comment. Please follow us at the WomenHood Lectures. Till next time.